So one of the announcements which fell out of Nintendo Direct, which was completely overlooked due to, the whole $80 for video games fiasco, was the fact that The Legend of Zelda is actually getting a movie trilogy, not just its own live action adaptation, we're getting 3 of them. Now, given the absolutely ridiculous success of the likes of the Super Mario movie and more recently the Minecraft movie, it's really not surprising that Nintendo have thought, let's make a movie out of our second biggest IP that we have. In terms of what we actually know about this first Legend of Zelda movie and the subsequent sequels, realistically, there isn't a lot. Nintendo have revealed that the release date for the movie will be 26th of March 2027, which is roughly around 9 months after the second Mario movie is released, so if that spikes and does incredible, the likes are that they're probably going to be even more excited about the Zelda movie. We also know that the director of this movie, at the very least the first one, is going to be Wes Ball. Now, to my knowledge, the main sort of thing he's recognised for is directing the Maze Runner trilogy, which I'll be honest, I saw the first one and thought it was pretty good. For some reason, didn't bother watching the sequels, but they've all done relatively well. I mean, you get a trilogy greenlit, it can't be doing too bad. Sorry, I was just checking this while I was editing, and it turns out that the Maze Runner sequels are actually not quite that well received, so maybe that's something to worry about a little bit, especially as he could have another trilogy of movies. He was also most recently involved in directing the Kingdom of the Planet of the Apes movie, which again did very well. I mean, generally speaking, most of the Planet of the Apes movies are pretty good, so I think it's fair to say in terms of previous work, he has got a fairly decent resume. I think there's one major thing that worries me about this whole process, and that is the fact that this movie is going to be published by Sony Pictures. Now, when it comes to them and video games movies, I'll be honest, they do not have the best of track records. They've been known for publishing all of the Resident Evil movies, which realistically are pretty arse. You should see my video covering all of those and how terrible they are. And more recently, they did do the Uncharted movie as well, which received a lot of backlash for being, well, pretty poo. Oh, they did Monster Hunter as well, which again was Mila Jovovich and was still terrible. I think when you combine that with the fact that when it comes to video game movies, there is a pretty bad track record of a lot of them being pretty terrible. When you're thinking of things like, for example, the Minecraft movie. No, it's going to make a bunch of money, but it's not great. And then things like Borderlands. Like recently, a lot of video game movies have been pretty poor. I guess the only counter-argument to this is the fact that the only one that has been properly licensed by Nintendo, being the Super Mario movie, was great. So I feel as long as they can hold the main sort of creative influence and direction of the movie itself, we should be in for an alright time. I think the obvious but main question that we're all going to have with this movie is, what is it actually going to be about? Is it just going to be a complete retelling one-to-one of the games verbatim? Because that would be incredibly difficult to do, as these games can have literally days worth of content wrapped up within them. And realistically, what game is it going to follow? I'll be honest, my knowledge of Zelda is pretty poor, but I know the fact that things like Breath of the Wild, Tears of the Kingdom, and way back like Wind Waker and Ocarina of Time are considered as like some of the greatest games to ever be released in gaming. So if they're going to somewhat emulate and replicate those stories, they need to do it right. You can't just have Jack Black in there making game references like he did in the Minecraft movie, like, ooh, Zelda, oh look, a Moblin. Like, that's just not going to work. Now, we also don't know anything about the cast relating to this movie yet. I've seen a big rumour going around that the character of Link will be played by Tom Holland, which I just find hilarious, but hopefully it'll suit a little bit better than what he did playing as Nathan Drake. Honestly, based on how successful and well received the Super Mario movie was, it wouldn't surprise me if the character of Zelda was played by Anya Taylor-Joy, who played Peaches in that movie, just because she's worked with Nintendo before and was sort of perceived as doing one of the best performances in the movie. Outside of that, the only other concrete stuff that we know about this movie is the fact that the producer is going to be Avi Arad. Now, he's an Israeli and American film producer who's most notably worked on things like Spider-Man 2, X-Men The Last Stand, Iron Man, Venom, things that are great like Spider-Man Into the Spider-Verse, but then he's also worked on things like Morbius and the Bratz movie and stuff like that, so, little bit of a mixed bag on what he's done so far. Anyway, are you guys excited about an upcoming Zelda movie, or are you a little bit nervous about it like myself? And are there any games that you would like this movie to follow specifically? Let me know your thoughts down in the comments below, and if you are new here and you haven't already, please do consider subscribing, as it really helps out the channel. Thanks ever so much for watching, and I'll see you in another video sometime soon.